lead track and field analyst in Rio for NBC, and he joins us now on the Dan Patrick Show. Ato, good morning. Is there any chance he doesn't win tonight?
No, I don't think there's any chance that Bolt doesn't win, but I think it could be a lot closer than people expect because of the Canadian DeGrasse.
They were laughing last night. Were you laughing? For those who didn't see it, DeGrasse and Bolt's got the lead. DeGrasse is coming on strong there at the end in this semifinal, and Bolt looks back at him, kind of saying like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He said afterwards, Otto, that DeGrasse was supposed to pull up at the end or something like that.
I think they had a pre-race conversation where Bolt kind of looked at him and said, "Look, young kid, I know you're going to come out here and try to challenge me. It's the semifinals. I don't want to run that fast, save all of that for the final." And I think DeGrasse said, "Oh yeah, sure, Usain. Yeah, let's just take it easy." And then, of course, he had a little surge at the end. So we had a lot of fun with that, and so did the crowd.
There's no sense of disrespect, is there, when somebody is jogging and or laughing at the end? When Otto, you know that all these other guys are taking this, I mean, so seriously. They've trained their entire life for this, and then here's this guy up in front having a laugh.
I think it's a very fine line, and if you turn around and point or sort of do it at the expense of somebody else, I think that would be frowned upon, and actually could be grounds for disqualification depending on the level that you're at. But when you have two guys, I mean, I used to do this with Frankie Fredericks back in the day from Namibia, but when you have two guys who are really just engaging with each other, I think it's okay. And I don't really get the sense that anybody would have been offended by those two sort of carrying on up front.
Otto, should Usain Bolt be a bigger star in the U.S.? Should he have a stage aside from the Olympics? Because I feel like he is such, obviously we all agree he's an amazing athlete, but he is so otherworldly. He is so special that it kind of is frustrating that we as Americans don't embrace him more for things and events other than the Olympics.
I think it's something that actually his management should have figured out a long time ago. You're not going to be a megastar in the United States unless you're on television constantly. And I think part of the problem with Usain and his popularity in the States, I obviously am on the circuit and following these guys all over the world, and you realize this guy is a rock star everywhere else in the world. I think part of the problem is that you don't see Usain on television enough. And when he is on U.S. television, he's fantastic. He did a little piece on The Ellen Show, and that went over well. He's done SNL, that went over well. But he's not on television enough. He's not performing on television enough. That's also because that track and field doesn't have the popularity of, say, the NFL or another big United States sport. But, yeah, he should be a lot more popular, but I think it's because the American public does not see him often enough.
Ato Boldon from NBC joining us from Rio. If it were 6 months ago, what do we think? 6 months ago, so there's no big pre-Olympic hype yet. Do you think if he walks down the street in, say, San Francisco, he gets noticed?
No. I've been around him in the States, and I've been around him in just about every other continent. And when he is outside of the U.S., like I said, rock star, entourage and, people following him, and everybody wants to do the Usain Bolt lightning pose with him. He is just hounded everywhere else. It's not that people wouldn't recognize him in the States. I just think that it wouldn't be quite the reception that he gets, everywhere else on the planet.
Otto, the Danettes, Dan Patrick's crew here, they were debating during the break how fast they, or the average guy, we'll call them average guys, could run the 100. Forget about the 200. Run the 100. How fast do you think the average American male in his 30s in reasonably average shape could run the 100?
I think they would be in the mid 12-second range.
That
which
fast?
means that they would not get. That's not particularly fast, man. All right, 12.5. I'll say 12.5 to 13 flat, which means that they would not get out of the first round here at the Olympics on the women's side. So not really a lot to celebrate on that one.
Get out of the first round. They couldn't find their way to the track. Otto,
Exactly.
I think you're being generous. I don't think like an average 32-year-old guy that might be a weekend warrior playing basketball, waiting for his Achilles to inevitably blow out, will run the 100 in 12 seconds. I just don't see it.
12 high.
Okay.
12 mid, 12 high.
Mid
That's a lot of the
12s.
population going to be in between 12 and 13.
What event, Ato Boldon, would you like to see the average American take a crack at? Because running, we've all run at one point in our life, but most of us haven't, say, done the vault in gymnastics, or something ridiculous like that. This is a great late night bit. Take the average American and try to have him do the hardest Olympic event. What event would you like to see them do?
Wow. The hardest Olympic event that I'd want to see a civilian do.
Just a laugh.
How about skeet shooting?
Those guys are quick on the trigger. That's like when they go bam, bam,
Exactly.
and then they throw their gun over their shoulder and open. I mean, those guys are nuts. What gets me about the skeet shooting?
People look at it and they think, "Oh yeah, I can do that," and it's like it would be a lot of clay pigeons flying all over the place, completely unharmed.
No way. And what freaks me out about that is when you're watching that in Rio, there's like housing developments like half a mile down the road. Like, what if these guys miss?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Anyway, Otto, it's going to be great tonight. Thanks for getting up and joining us this morning. Usain Bolt goes for the sweep tonight, goes for the 200-meter gold yet again. Ato Boldon from NBC. Thank you, sir.
Anytime. Thank you.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.